and I will be talking about the drug MDMA. Okay, so the chemical name for MDMA is known as 3,4-methylene dioxymethamphetamine. For the street names, it's widely known as ecstasy, XTC, X, E, Molly, and then for the crystal and powder form, it's known as Mandy. It is also known as the love drug, but I will get into more detail about that later. It is a Schedule 1 drug, and it is categorized as both a stimulant and a hallucinogen. The main method of use for MDMA is taking in a pill form orally, or if it's in the crystal or powder form, people could snort it, smoke it, and some people will even put that in capsules and take it that way because it's in its most purest form. And if you saw the very first slide, I showed the different forms that these pills could look like, because some people will put it in different shapes and colors. Okay, the history of MDMA is that it was developed by a German pharmaceutical company in 1912, and it was intended as a parent compound to synthesize medications that control bleeding. Throughout the time until the 1980s, psychiatrists used MDMA to enhance patient communication skills. MDMA does cause people to be in touch with their emotions and open up about their traumas, so it makes sense why psychiatrists were using it. But in 1985, the DEA classified MDMA as a Schedule 1 drug, declaring that it has no medical use, so psychiatrists were not able to use that anymore because it's not legal. So the impact of MDMA on the brain is that it releases 3 neurotransmitters: serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine. This causes people to be really, really happy, gives them that euphoric feeling. It heightens their senses. Like I said before, it causes people to be in touch with their emotions and increased energy. And I said I was going to touch on why it's called the love drug. And people on MDMA experience feelings of love and closeness. So this increases their sensual feelings, and sometimes those people will engage in sex. So that's why it's called the love drug. Continuing on that, MDMA's effects is involuntary jaw clenching, dilated pupils, lack of appetite, an increase in body temp, and irrational thoughts. Okay, so for the toxic levels, if you take too much, a person can experience seizures, paranoia, vomiting, and then fainting. So, as I said earlier, it does increase the body temperature, and it will cause people to sweat a lot. And if they're dehydrated, it could cause them to faint. So, that could be very dangerous. For the tolerance, there isn't a lot of research on it, but just like any drug, if you're taking too much of it, you become addicted. And as time goes on, you will feel like you need to take more to get that same high you did as the first time. For the withdrawals, it causes people to be unable to sleep properly throughout the night, trouble concentrating, anxiety, and then the long-term effect is depression. So because MDMA does cause a spike in like serotonin, when they come down from that, they come down really hard, and it causes a really hard hit within their emotions, and it's hard to get back to those levels. So your body's trying to figure out what is going on, but throughout that time, a lot of people will experience severe depression. And then for overdoses, it could be rare, but some people can be put in a coma, and sometimes it could even cause death. So MDMA is really popular within raves and festivals and the party atmosphere. So a lot of people who do take these drugs, it could cost them $15 to $25 for a pill, and then for the capsule, it could range from 25 through 50. So a lot of adolescents and young adults are taking MDMA for parties and raves. And because it has like loud music and light shows and visual effects, it does attract people to use MDMA a lot more. And we're starting to see an increase on people using MDMA. And with an increase, it does mean that younger people are susceptible to using these drugs. And it is shown that kids as young as 14-year-olds are trying MDMA. And within adults, it's still a very popular drug. As I said, it's a party drug, so a lot of people like to use it. So an interesting fact about MDMA is that doctors and psychiatrists are using it now to treat people with PTSD. MDMA is seen to reduce the stress caused from recalling traumatic experiences. So with that, a lot of doctors are seeing positive results from that. And I think it's going back from what psychiatrists were doing in the 1980s. I put a link. It's from YouTube, and it's a doctor explaining how MDMA is making its way to treat people with PTSD. I put another website here. It's from the National Institute on Drug Abuse, and it provides a lot more information on MDMA and what the drug is and the effects on the brain and body. And thank you guys very much. This is my presentation, and these are my references that I've used. Thank you so much.